States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Ms. Salchow?
Here.
Mr. Lindemann?
Here.
Dr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Ramos?
Here.
Mr. Burry?
Here. We'd like to offer Mr. Lindman our condolences for the loss of his mother and
Thank you.
our deepest sympathy.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any public comments?
No, sir.
You have that out of order too, anyway, don't you? That's not normally where you have it. At a special meeting, do you have it there?
Yes, sir. It's on there.
Oh,
Letter D.
okay, later. Okay, action items. And of course, Ms. Samaniego, again, if you would give an explanation why you wanted the meeting at this time, so that we always want to be as transparent as possible and let the public always know why we do things out of the ordinary, but this is because of a necessity.
Yes, item D is the reason why we had to have a special meeting. Currently, our gifted program is still under a vacant position, and AD mandates that we provide gifted services to our children. And so after exhausting all possibilities, we had to go via the path of a telehealth gifted teacher, and the only way to get those services provided to our students as soon as possible was to bring this contract for approval. And that is the reason why we had to have a special board meeting to provide gifted services to our
Okay,
students.
thank you for that. Item 2, action items, discussion action on the approval of certified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
All right, so before we go in for approving, I am notifying the board that any of the, I think there's 6 or 7 people listed on there for a DUSD Online Academy stipend. I am removing them from the agenda and will represent them in September. So it's bullet point 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're removing them and representing them as addendas in the next meeting. And I also have one other removal in section C. And the name Nitzia Machado is no longer interested in that position, and so she is being, we're removing her from the agenda. Okay, so before we proceed.
Okay, so on
A?
on the item that we were presently
Yes,
on, then we are going to actually entertain a motion to approve from the bullets point number, I think you said 8 down
Yeah,
for approval,
2 through
starting
8,
with
Martha Alonso through Angelica Chavez, we're removing
Angelica
them.
Chavez. So I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I move to approve with the exceptions of the online academy and also the one emergency substitute teacher that was named.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any discussion, members of the board, administration? Any follow-up?
No.
Roll call.
Ms. Salchow?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burry? Mr. Burry?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, I was waiting for the person on the phone to respond. No, I'm just kidding. Did that person want to vote or what? I'm just kidding, of course. I love you over there.
My fault.
No
Apologize to
problem.
the board and the administration for keeping my phone on.
That's okay, it happens.
I think we've all done it once or twice. Item B, discussion action on the approval of classified resignations. Ms. Samaniego.
Okay, so we have 4 classified resignations, so as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the classified
By Mr.
resignations.
Lindholm, is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. It's nice to be able to see you now.
I know, Yes. funny.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salchow?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes,
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burry?
Yes, item C, discussion action on the approval of classified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
Okay, as presented, and if you notice, I mean, there's many different positions that are classified, but wanted you to pay specific attention to the campus security, that we conducted interviews and are presenting for approval, and that's going to be for the elementary positions. And so all come with experience, retired either law enforcement, DOC, so that is part of the presentation, so as presented.
Did you put that backup information on those individuals so the board could see it on any type of a resume or anything?
No, we normally don't, Mr. Bahrain. That all goes to HR, and HR reviews the letter of justification, the application, their background information, all that. We no longer put that on agendas.
Okay, we'll take your
Okay.
report then. That's good.
All right.
No, that's fine.
And Denise has met with each individual, too.
Okay.
Okay?
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the classified hires.
By Mr. Lindeman, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Did you have any new hires or anybody? that
Yes,
you
so I
wanted to-
do want to introduce, we're going to start with our certified approval, and that is Julian Martin. If you can come up to the podium, introduce yourself. He will be taking on that assistant principal role at Ray Bahrain Middle School. He can tell you a little bit about himself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julian Martin. I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona. I went to school at Santa Rita High School, graduated from Santa Rita High School, moved to Silver City, New Mexico, where I got a bachelor's degree in English. Moved to Las Vegas. I was a manager at the airport in Las Vegas, and then I became a teacher in Tucson at Desert View High School, where I taught English. I did my master's degree through Grand Canyon University, and now I have the opportunity to work for you guys at the Douglas Unified School District, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm sure Mrs. La Madrid is excited to have a partner to oversee Ray Bahrain Middle School.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
And we also have Paul Hartman, computer technician, who's going to be working and overseeing the IT components of our DUSD Online Academy, our AOI. So Paul, you want to come up? And I know Mr. Durazo was very impressed and was very happy he could hire him.
Oh, hey, that's great to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, so, excuse my voice. Allergies have been killing my throat, but yeah, my name's Paul Hartman. I came to DUSD my whole elementary through high school career, class of 2015. After that, I went to Cochise College. I did 2 years, did my 2-year associates for networking technology. And the last 4 years, I've been the tech for Omega Alpha Academy, who's right by the high school. I'm the online technician, or the technician for your new online program. I'm excited to get started. I'm still warming up here, but yeah, ready to go.
Well, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is it.
We didn't want to ask him because he's having that difficulty and we empathize with him. What is he actually going to be overseeing? I know the
So,
online, but what's
yes,
he going to do?
so the online component obviously has from internet safety training to students, oversight of the learning management system that teaches the kids and the curriculum. So he's going to be the IT guy behind and servicing that online school for the duration of its existence, whether it's 10 kids or 15 kids and all of that. So there needs to be an IT tech for that.
What's the line of authority for him?
Mark?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He's in Marco's
Mhm,
department?
yes.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. Anything else
We
regarding
have
that?
one more? Oh, Mr. Duarte is here. I hadn't seen you when I walked in, Mr. Duarte. Come on up. Mr. Duarte is also just got approved for an instructional ESSIA. at
Hi,
Huber.
good morning, everybody. I'm glad to be joining DUSD. Made a little transition from my previous job, but hope to bring all that here to the district, and thank you for that opportunity.
Welcome.
What is the?
It's great to see you in another capacity.
Yeah, it is. It's always, we always have to be looking at something different. So I'll be working with, I think it's exceptional
Special-
students.
Exceptional students.
As I think maybe a one-on-one
IA.
TA and stuff, so.
It's really, really good to have you because we all know, whether we personally know you or not, but we know what you've done because of the presentations you made. You bring a lot to the district and the classroom, and I think we're fortunate to have you.
Well, thank you, and I hope to continue bringing those things back to the district and contributing to our community.
Great.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Thanks,
Thank
should
you.
we? Yeah. We got it. So, right there.
Mr. President, so
Yes.
he's gonna be working under Katie?
Yes.
Item D, discussion action on the approval to accept the Edmentum services for an online gifted teacher and program. Ms. Samaniego.
So as presented, I hope you had an opportunity to take a look at the background information. Mrs. Selcha is very familiar with our gifted program, being that she was our gifted teacher. And unfortunately, times have changed. The struggles of recruitment and retention are more and more each year. So we had found a candidate who decided not to take the position. And we're almost, end of August, and gifted is our obligation. We have to provide the services to our gifted population. And so after looking at all of our options, we contacted Edmentum, who is the company that provides also the curriculum and some of the teachers that will be for our DUSD Online Academy. And this way, our students will receive the appropriate services, the curriculum, and we're going to be in compliance with ADE. Mrs. Walker, do you have anything to add that you'd like to come up, or does the board have any questions?
Well, first
you
of
wanna-
all, yeah, Ms. Walker definitely can come up, but it's, the funding's out of M&O?
Correct.
What was the logistics of getting that? Are they with state procurement?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're under purchasing cooperative, and that's one of the reasons why. Not the main reason why we went with them, is just the curriculum, and like Mrs. Samaniego said, is the lack of candidates as teachers. I had already encumbered a position for that, for gifted, so we're gonna be using that money to pay this program instead of
And
paying.
an IA.
And an IA, yeah, correct.
And then one other thing before I would open up to the board, I noticed that they get all the money up front. Said something about the funding was payable in advance,
Let me see, services purchased.
well, that's all right, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Ms. Walker, we don't want to keep you waiting because I know you've got
The full
a lot
amount
of
of the
important
order
things
will
to
be
do.
invoiced when accepted.
Good morning, members of the board. We, like Mrs. Samaniego said, we have searched for a full-time, a gifted teacher, part-time, then full-time, and we were unable to fill the position, and it's a struggle we've had the past few years since Mrs. Salchow left the district. So what happened was we did have a candidate, and they decided not to take the position, so Mrs. Samaniego and I had a conversation, and I said, I'm going to look for something online. She said yes. So I knew Edmentum was already working with the district, so I reached out to them. They feel that this will be a partnership with the district going forward. They have a experienced, gifted, and talented ed teacher that will be providing the services to our students at DUSD. They will be certified in the state of Arizona, and they're already taking care of all that documentation. They will provide services to our students one time per week for an hour. They have, and you can see in the background, the scope of work that they will provide SEL, social emotional learning, as a part of their lessons. Students will have choice. They created the 11 themes, and you can see them. So that when they meet with the different groups of students, they will ask them what they want to explore for that month, and they will do that. So there's student choice built in. It's based on literacy. The focus of the themes will be around literacy. And so I'm really excited for this opportunity that the students will have to see how well this online program works. We won't be transporting students to and from schools. They will log in at their sites, so that saves us on transportation. We will not have to use that classroom at Paul Huber, so that opens up a classroom for them. We will not have to staff a full-time IA anymore in that program, so the costs kind of offset in the end. When you look at providing a full-time teacher, the transportation and the costs associated with that, the cost of an IA, cost of supplying the classroom, it kind of equals out in the end.
Members of the board, any questions of Ms. Walker or Ms. Samaniego?
I
Dr.
didn't have a
Gomez.
chance. How much is the program costing?
63,000, I think.
63,360.
And I think that's total, the salary. That's
Yes.
the salary. Go ahead,
Yes.
Dr. Gomez.
Well, it's so then what you said, like the teacher, the teacher assistant, and free up a classroom.
Yeah, so, yeah, we looked at the numbers on what Cesar had allocated for a full-time teacher for this year. We estimated the cost to be about $58,200. And then when you look at the cost of an IA salary and the cost of transporting the kids back and forth, and even disruption to their day, even, having to drive that 15, minutes, there's less disruption to the actual classroom time. And then it's focused on literacy, so they'll get that reading. That's what they built the program around. And in Mentum, again, it's a partnership, so we're going to check in regularly to see how it's going. And they're hoping in the end, USD, becomes a model for a program they push out nationwide.
Members of the board, any other questions? Ms. Salchow?
Yeah, you knew. Okay, with the students having or doing this in their schools, who will be supervising them?
So once this is approved, we'll have those logistics meeting with the principals. We have discussed if it's one student, they could potentially be on a laptop in the back of the room with headphones. But otherwise, we're thinking that if it's more than one student, or that one student is easily distracted, we can pull them to the classroom or to a computer lab with a gen ed IA
That's already.
that's already in that room supporting them.
So if perhaps that gen ed IA wasn't there, another one would be placed in there, it would be a priority?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that they would not have a missed day or
No,
because
yeah,
of
no.
lack of staffing?
No, no. And like I said, because we have devices in every classroom, potentially they could just take a laptop to the back of the room to a
Okay.
different area in the classroom and get on, regardless if that IA is present that day.
Okay. Regarding the room that's over at Huber that will become part of their classrooms, which kind of surprises me because they have,
Plenty.
that I know that, I didn't know that they needed that room.
No,
Anymore.
I'm not saying they need that room, but it potentially frees up a room, like during the year, for them to do pull-out with interventionists, or create a computer lab potentially for the year if they need that space, but it frees up that space for them.
Okay. And what about the supplies in the room?
So I did talk to the principal, and I said those supplies, we'll look at the supplies and whether or not they come back to the ESS office or they get absorbed at the site.
Okay. Those were my questions.
Okay?
Any other questions or comments, Mr.
I
Gomez?
just wanted to ask, and this is just a year contract? to
This
see
is
how
a
it
one-year
goes?
contract, yes. But again, the history has shown that we are struggling to find teachers, let alone a certified gifted and talented ed teacher.
Thank you.
And a little history, Dee, if you don't mind, if you'll just
Yes.
a second. I only was supposed to stay for 2 weeks. I stayed 8 years because they could not find a teacher. So, 2 weeks.
Any other?
How many students approximately are you going to be serving?
So I'm going to be honest, we are behind in testing. Currently, myself and 2 psychologists are going through COGAT training to administer that test online. So I'm hoping within 2 weeks, we get out to the schools and we start testing at the elementary levels, 2nd through 5th, to identify more students. In the last full year that we had full classrooms and school prior to COVID, we were servicing about 72 students. And again, this will only be for Douglas Unified.
And what grade levels does that encompass?
We're hoping 2nd through 8th this year.
Great. Members of the board, any other questions or comments?
2nd through 8th.
Yes. Our high school students receive their services through the CT offerings and the advanced placement courses and honors.
Okay.
Good, that's good to know. Any other comments or questions or any follow-up by the administration, Ms. Samaniego?
No, and I will be working with Mrs. Walker and Mr. Soto to ensure that the classroom supplies, because that is a very nice classroom. If you've never been into the Moss classroom, it's a very nice classroom that nobody wants to give up. Huber right now doesn't need an
No.
additional classroom. They have empty classrooms right now, but in potential, that could free up for other things. So we'll work together and determine if the supplies go to the students, the principal, because every school will have gifted children,
Yeah.
so.
Well, she said she spoke to the principal at Huber and that things are okay.
Yes, of course.
And I just wonder who supersedes in that situation.
Myself.
Yeah, her, but yeah, I know.
No, she
Trust
was
me.
saying me.
No, I meant between the principal and I have had a discussion that no, those supplies, I will be taking a look at them. So
But you do have the upper hand there.
So- yeah.
Thanks a lot, Katie.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you. That's a good program. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the Admentum Services for Online Gifted Program.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Yes. Anything else, any announcements or anything you want to make? Entertain
just
a
our-
motion to adjourn
Move to adjourn.
by Mr. Lindeman,
Second.
by Mr. Ramos. All those in favor?